Good morning, everybody. It's time for your morning ice. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to In the Crease with Tommy C. A little morning ice for you. Let's go over last night's games in the National Hockey League. The Detroit Red Wings come up short of the New York Rangers in overtime. The Detroit Red Wings victims some poor officiating and some missed opportunities. But what a hell of a game for a Wednesday night rivalry. I'm going to watch it again because I had to watch it without sound. Oh, God, it's going to be one of those days. The Montreal Canadiens take the Buffalo Sabres in the shootout. That ends a little bit of a losing streak for them. Jonathan Tavares scores the big OT goal on the Anaheim Ducks. That's the final in OT. The Anaheim Ducks had to come back from a 2-0 deficit. Corey Perry and Ryan Getzlaf out with the flu in this one, so I guess I can still goof on the Islanders for you. All that and more coming up on In the Crease. Come see. What's happening? Welcome to my crease and my point man that happened to be in my crease like Rick Nash and nobody's business, none other than delicious Dave Rose and none other than dead on Dave Van Cura. Welcome to the Crease Boys. What's happening?
What's going on, partner?
That sounds so lame. Welcome to my crease, guys. Hey!
It sounds really corny.
Let's talk hockey. Come on, sport.
Welcome to my crease, boys.
Welcome to Crease Boys.
Come right into my crease.
Yeah, let me tell you something, bitches. Well, this ain't Shot from the Point Live, which is our weekly hockey news podcast, most outrageous in the whole world. I'm in a goofy mood.
You sound loopy. You sound a little
Yeah, because I did that monetize this episode. A Shock Jock Guy Talk Show.
I did it, and I'm fresh as a daisy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I look horrible, too. It's horrible.
Yeah, but that's the norm. I'm used to that.
Me? I'm beautiful.
Yeah, you always look terrible.
Fucking beautiful guy.
I'm worried about you all the time.
Well, I guess I'm going to call this Free 'em Up Thursday. Free 'em Up Thursday! But I was going to let you guys kind of talk about the hockey subjects in your mind. The only thing that really comes to my mind, I didn't even title the show so much, is the fact that one Marc-Andre Fleury, who is blamed for absolutely everything when Sidney Crosby can't lead. He actually gets an extension. What a bizarre story here. They lose faith in him in the 2013 playoffs. God, what was the name of that check that was in goal for him?
Oh fuck.
It's only a year ago. What's the matter with you? And they were like, we're done with Fleury. So,
God, what the hell? He's a free agent now too.
Yeah, the Penguins lose in spectacular fashion to the Boston Bruins. They get swept.
Not Brzgalov, is it?
No, Brzgalov didn't play for the Penguins, you nut.
I don't know.
No,
I wing stuff.
Volkoon. Am I right? Am I right, Delicious?
I can't remember. I'm sorry.
It's Volkoon. So the weird thing is they look like they were done finished with him. Volkoon, who didn't really have a bad playoff. He had an excellent playoff going in. Crosby has that meltdown that I honestly think affected the whole team. With that showdown with Zdeno Chara, which is just completely insane and shows that he has a Napoleon complex and a half. And they get rid of Volkoon. They put all their faith in Fleury. Fleury did not have a bad playoff last year either. And they let they were up 3-1 against the New York Rangers and let that slide as well. Another leadership issue. But it's, I don't know, guys. I'll ask Dave Rose. Does this kind of money, is this the problem? You're like, all right, you're our guy. That's it. We're final. Whatever was the past is the past. Does this kind of thing help? Is this a good thing to show Fleury that you're our guy? You won a cup with us before. This is us going forward. Is the best way to do that with money? What do you think?
Well, in a capitalist society, it is.
Money makes the world go. Well, you might say that, old PK Subban's been sliding up there in Montreal land, And maybe that has to do with all the filthy money he makes. But I found out he only makes 3.5 after taxes over there. You know that?
Wow.
Well, we get taxed a lot.
That's highway robbery. Oh God! Like that gives me chills as an American. What do you think, that on Dave? Is this going to help him?
I think, you know what? I think it's a good contract for him. I mean, the guy's been blamed for friggin' everything in the world. So how do you say you're sorry? Well, 4 years at $23 million will certainly get the job done. But when things like this happen, you got to look at the numbers. So let's look at his career numbers for a moment, shall we?
Oof.
295, 171, and 44 in his career. Those are not bad. That's not a bad winning number right there at all. And a cup. 2.16 goals against average, 0.911 save percentage. These are not terrible numbers.
Not at all.
Now, and considering what he's getting, what he's making, which isn't high-end goalie money, it's good money, it's great money. But he's not one of the highest paid goalies, nor should he be. I think this is a great contract for everybody. It shows confidence in him. He should be able to easily live up to this extension. He's 29 years old. I think it's a win-win for everybody. Stop blaming the fucking guy for everything in the world, Pittsburgh. You showed your appreciation. Hopefully they can move on. And he started this season like a house of fucking fire.
Yeah, no kidding.
7-2, 1.89 goals against with a 93.1 or 93.1 save percentage. This guy is killing it this year. The Penguins are off to a good start. He's a big part of it. And they're scoring goals like no one's fucking business.
To play devil's advocate a little bit for maybe some of the Fleury detractors, he does look loopy at times. But I don't know how many goalies don't have bad skids and what have you. He does look unaware. He does he makes you unsure. He's one of these goalies, even after he won a cup, which is usually unusual. Usually that solidifies it, because whenever I'm sure you say this with your goalies all the time over there in Toronto. Is this a guy? It takes a special goalie to win a Stanley Cup. Is this the guy? And until they easily do that, then a lot of this lack of faith in the fan base seems to go away. You haven't seen that with Marc-Andre Fleury. It's just they're very uncomfortable with him. The people in the office are uncomfortable with him. The Pittsburgh faithful are uncomfortable with him, and I think that's where they put their some of the criticisms, and it probably should belong to the team captain and past
it's a leaderless team.
Yeah, well, I mean, one might say that I blame Crosby for everything, and yes, he owes me $20. But
I'd actually like to make a point about that.
Sure, go ahead.
I think that's a little consistent. I've seen that quite a fair bit in all the years that I've watched hockey, is that a lot of the time it seems like the goalie is getting the blame for things. And I kind of see, maybe the analogy isn't the best, but the goalie for me is like the drummer in a band. He doesn't get the best respect, but without him, you can't do shit.
I think that's an excellent.
That's a great analogy.
I think that's really an excellent.
He doesn't set the pace. Here's the thing: a drummer sets the pace, or the rhythm guy. But other than that, he's the last. He's the last line of defense for you guys, and he's the one that is taking the brunt of this damage. So I really feel that a lot of goalies are disrespected with this attitude that everything is upon them when they're basically holding up the team a lot of the time.
But if you're gonna give them the praise, you got to give them the fucking the detraction as well.
Sure.
So if we're gonna say that they're the reason why a lot of teams are gonna be winning a lot, then they also have to be the reason. They're losing a lot too. There's
but I think Dave's
two sides of the coin.
I think you both have good points, but I think what Dave's referring to is when we were growing up, the goalie didn't get the blame that much. It does seem to be part of maybe a new hockey culture that we're a little quicker to blame the keeper, because we sort of expect our guy to be playoff hot at all times, and for some reason, I honestly believe the reason Fleury probably gets more. And I'm not saying all criticism of Marc-Andre Fleury is off the table here. I think there's lots of legitimate criticism to go around with his play at certain points over the last 4 to 5 years. But he's been rather consistent. It's a faith issue. They don't have faith in him. So, I mean, he's really the only goalie in history that has won a cup and, beat a very good Detroit Red Wings team. I mean, think all the firepower that's on that Red Wings team. And never has really shaken that feeling that that lack of faith feeling. But it's interesting, and it's also interesting if this will actually help. All right,
showing faith now.
They put the money on the table. They must believe in me. It's not one of these things where I go to practice and it's not like what's his name, a Rick DiPietro situation where they hope he slips and falls and not be able to play or quits. I mean, at least it's not a situation like that. Any other subjects you guys got? Actually, and if you want to give us a call, it's 718-395-7660. If we're live, if not, just leave a message. Give us your feelings on the National Hockey Leagues and other hockey issues. Any other subjects, boys?
Oh yeah, all kinds of stuff. Where do we
I
start?
watched the Habs Buffalo game last night. I could talk about that.
I didn't watch that. I understand they won the shootout. How did Montreal look? Did they seem like they're putting it back together after a little bit of a skid?
A little bit, but this is not the Montreal team that we saw in the past month. It was a very lackluster game and underwhelming, in my opinion. Good on Buffalo for actually holding them off like that, and some fairly good passes. But the problem is, both teams were turning over. But it wasn't. They weren't doing anything with that. There weren't any goals with those turnovers, and it went all the way to the end to the shootouts. And I think Montreal barely made it.
No
but what
kidding.
really pisses me off at the end of the game, they're all big smiles and happy and stuff. And it's like, oh, we just won against the worst team in the league. Let's go celebrate with some poutine, tabernacle. There's no reason to be celebrating. You won against the worst team. You guys should be all sad-faced and really concerned as to what direction the Canadians are going in.
I think that's a really good point. They have been on a bit of a skid lately. PK Subban has been very vocal about the lack of effort, that they have not been, that they're not the type of team that can sit back. They're not that talented, which is not a common phrase from any kind of player. I'm not even sure I agree with it, but he's actually.
Oh, it's true.
It's true. It's absolutely true. They're not good enough where they can't see bet. They have to play intense from beginning to end. They are a good hockey team. No one would deny they're a good hockey team. But is it like, PK wants a cup. You can see it. That kid's got
You want to
heart.
hear some very interesting words I had with Matt Cassar yesterday?
What do you have to say?
He actually told me that, he's concerned about Price not being as good of a goalie as people are get the impression of that. And he actually said that the Habs really aren't that good this year.
No,
They're not. They're not that good. I put them out of the playoffs in our pre-rankings at the beginning of the year. And I did it for a reason. Now, you made a really good point, Dave, and I wanted to hit on that for a second. Beating Buffalo after a skid like they've been on is not a slump buster. And the fact that they reacted the way they did tells me they are a desperate team that is happy to get any victory that they can. It's unprofessional. They should know better at this point, and it tells me this team is not what they were playing at the beginning of the year. So now I kind of feel a little bit better about keeping them out of the playoffs.
Yeah, I guess so.
I really do. I feel a little bit better about it. This team is not that talented. They're not deep. I just don't know. I'm not sold on Price either. So, I mean, it's just this team has got so many question marks. And when you can barely beat Buffalo,
Yes.
they struggle to do it.
To give Buffalo a little credit, Nolan's got them playing their balls off. I don't really see any team in the league that's just going out. It's not like an Edmonton. I don't see one team, even Edmonton Oilers, like the Edmonton situation that they had last year. There isn't one team in this league that I think is just half-assing it. Everybody's in it. Now, that may change as time goes on and the playoffs seem farther and farther off, or to make the playoffs seem farther. But I don't see any team just sort of walking by and hoping things work out. Buffalo's played hard. They knocked off the Avs the other day. They've only have 5 wins all season. They're certainly not going to make the playoffs. I know I make cracks a lot about the Connor McDavid sweepstakes. Well, if that is going on, those guys are sure fooling me. They do have some ex-Montreal Canadiens there. One being, it's not Gomez, the other kid. Sorry, it's just one of those days for me. But I mean, that being said, no, I think Buffalo plays hard. It's just that it's a talent question at the end of the day, and they're certainly not going to make the playoffs. So you cannot take any team. You have to take every team seriously. We've also seen a lot of teams have a hot start. San Jose Sharks had a hot start. Montreal Canadiens had a hot start. And just about everybody's been cooled off in one way or another.
Teams are coming back down there.
Even the Blackhawks, I wouldn't say it was a skid, but they have looked shaky at times. So, I mean, the league's wide open. It's every team is any team can beat you on any given night.
Look at Winnipeg.
Winnipeg might be a playoff-bound team.
My God, they started off, the worst in their division, and yet they're third place now, behind Nashville and St. Louis in first.
That's a really big surprise. That's something we could talk about. Nashville, Calgary, Winnipeg. I mean, the surprise teams of the NHL season this year. It just goes to show you. I mean, the depth is that's probably why they're going to do expansion. The depth looks very good in the NHL right now, and I mean that's extremely healthy for the league. I would not be shocked if Winnipeg made it. I would not be shocked if Calgary made it with Johnny Hockey from New Jersey. It makes teams like the Red Wings, like the Penguins, like the Boston Bruins know that if you get in a real close fight for an 8th spot position at the end of the season, throw Rangers in that group as well, Buffalo's going to probably fight. So you just got to be sharp. You guys got anything else?
With all the talking on tanking with Buffalo, we can't throw it on the players. That's a management thing. The players in any hockey team are not going to freaking lay down, especially this early in the year.
Thank God.
So if they do, it's an obvious thing. But
you're right.
When I say management all fucking day long.
You're absolutely correct, Dave, and I apologize. When I say that, it was just the complete dismantling of this team
over
the last few years. Now, that being said, I might have done. I mean, Calgary did its dismantlement too. Yeah. They dismantled their teams well, and it was necessary, and maybe it was necessary in Buffalo as well. I mean, you had Lindy Ruff for a way too long a time. They brought that coach in last year. I don't remember his name. He was way in over his head. He did not belong. He was not an NHL quality coach, and like I said, I can't even never see him in the league again. Then we bring Ted Nolan back from the grave, and he doesn't look like he takes, he's a little more older. He's more grizzled now. He doesn't look like he takes a hell of a lot of bullshit. And I hope he's put those days of accusing absolutely everybody of racism due to his failures behind him. And, maybe Buffalo. I mean, but that's a very big hockey market. People underestimate the Buffalo hockey market in America. Well,
it's a big sports market.
It's a very big sports market. It has produced Patrick Kane. It is a traditional American hockey city. So, I mean, a healthy Buffalo team is good for everybody. I mean, all the teams being healthy is good for everybody. But it's like the Rangers can afford to have a bad year. The Montreal Canadiens can have the board where as much as you don't bad year, as much as you don't want to hear Dave Rose, it doesn't matter if the Toronto Maple Leafs finish last. They're going to sell out and they're going to produce lots of revenue for the rest of the league.
And that is the problem.
Oh, I know that. You want to get into that?
At least people are able to see that, because here in Toronto, there's this reality bubble surrounding people. Oh, no, you don't know what you're talking about. They're going to make it. And then they don't even consider the fact that they could lose, and people are going to continue to go to their games, continue to buy the merchandise, continue to get their kids that little cheap backpack with the Leaf logo on there. They don't care.
No. I mean, it's a great leaf. It's a great logo. It's iconic. And as being a Ranger fan growing up, we had a very similar problem. That garden is filled up. You see the red, white, and blue. The Rangers. It's just, even though they're a losing franchise over the entire history of they were the worst of the original 6 teams. But there's something about those Rangers and those New York Rangers, and that's pretty much why they lost from the time that Gretzky left, pretty much during Gretzky's, and till up until recently, to when John Tortorella got a hold of this team, and he was able to kind of shape the youth and gave the Rangers an identity. Other than that, the people that run this team, and I don't know if you feel the same way, and we got to give Brendan Shanahan a chance, to be honest with you, are a bunch of corporate hacks looking to hold on to their jobs. That's all we've had. I mean, Glenn Slater, maybe the most overrated hockey figure in history. He'll probably end up in the Hall of Fame, and I will throw up on my shoes when I find out. This guy, I mean, he was handed the greatest team of all time, in my opinion. It was, from what I understand, he didn't do all that much coaching or training. I mean, how do you tell Wayne Gretzky and Mark Messier what to do in their prime? I'm not even sure. He sits on his ass with Peter Pocklington, kisses his ass while the Oilers embarrass themselves all through the 90s, all through the 2000s, all through the 90s. He managed to skip town, get a cushier job in New York City, where all he has to do is kick. Yeah, well, we couldn't do it this year because A, B, and C. Okay, Glenn, you coach Wayne Gretzky. You must know something. What a painful joke. I can't wait till the guy quits. And I honestly think you'll see a real improvement over there. But we had the same. My point is that you're laughing, Dave, because we're like you've won 2 Stanley Cups in the last 3 years. Your fucking grin makes me want to jump to the screen and punch you. I swear to God, you should see his face.
It's nice to be the king.
Yeah, I know, and your sports teams have suffered ridiculously. But yeah, we have.
Come
we have
on,
this,
seriously.
And the Chicago Blackhawks could suffer the same fate post Kane and Taves.
Yes, but
very
luckily
easily.
we don't have to worry about that for 8 years.
Hey, Dead Wrong Dave there.
What's that?
What's
Dead
up?
Wrong
What's
Dave.
up? What's up, Undelicious?
There we go. I want to get your comments as to what's going on with Chicago. You know, they lose against the Leafs quite pathetically, in my opinion, because the Leafs really weren't looking good that game. And then they go on to get a 6-0 win. Like, what's going on with them if they're so good?
Well, it's real simple. It's early on in the year. For one, that's a big thing of it. They had some pieces that came in, pieces that came out. Things were getting ready to gel. They've had some goalie problems. But here's the biggest thing. They weren't getting any breaks. Shots weren't hitting the back of the net. They've outscored every single team they've played this year. They're getting more than 42 shots on goal a game. That's insane. And they're not hitting the back of the net. Well, guess what, boys? They're starting to hit the net now, aren't they? Because we tore up that fucking seemingly at one point invincible Montreal team. Playing better hockey, it's going to continue to get better as long as they get the breaks that they're supposed to get. And I think they will if they continue to control the puck and make shots on goal like they have been. Now, that being said, a scary thing happened in the last game against Montreal. We lost Patrick Sharp for an indefinite amount of time. That's a big blow. Patrick Sharp is a hell of a player. He is one of those catalysts, those big moving parts on that team that never gets any recognition.
That's true.
This is a good player here.
Absolutely.
And he's got a lower body injury, and that's never good. You don't like to hear when they just categorize something as a lower body injury.
Yeah, because that means they don't know what the fuck it is.
They have no idea what's going on. And they won't put a number on how many games he's going to miss. Now, but the upside is the Hawks are deep. So I don't think it's going to be a huge blow to him. And he's probably going to miss 2 to 3 weeks if it's nothing super serious. Because if it was an ACL injury or something like that to a knee, we would know already. So I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. So I don't know. The thing is, it's still
done.
I'm sorry. I'm just blown away, dude, by the way. I mean, you're just blowing my mind right now. But go ahead.
Why, because of my awesomeness?
Yeah, you're pretty smooth with that shit. I'll give you that kind of impressed me. It sounded way more.
Let me add one more thing to put things into perspective.
Sure.
By the end of the game yesterday for Montreal and Buffalo, both teams had tied shots on goal at 32.
Man. Yeah, that's it. Well, you know, I'll tell you something. I think I can explain that, Dave. Something I noticed that the media didn't pick up on. Not that I'm some kind of hockey genius. I mean, shit, I'm on YouTube.
I'm a hockey savant.
Yeah, I mean, Dave. I think Dave, you should get promoted after that little speech. That was amazing. Yeah. I couldn't do that. But no, something I noticed is conditioning issues, and I didn't know because they seem to be scrambling and even dragging in their own zone against the Rangers series. That's not system oriented. Now I don't know what's going on. Were they tired, late? I've never been in a position like that before, but I know Huffman and Puffman when I see it, and I think that's the biggest reason the Montreal Canadiens lost the Eastern Conference Final. And I haven't watched enough Montreal games. I can't watch them all to say that for sure, but I really wonder, were they built to deal with the Bruins but don't have the conditioned or the type of defense to deal with the rest of the league?
That's a really, really good point.
That's a good theory.
Are they conditioned well? I mean, they look like they needed a run. But that could have been because it's the Eastern Conference Final. Rangers didn't have that problem. No. Kings didn't have that problem. Blackhawks didn't have that problem. Montreal did. So, I really actually wonder from that stuff.
No, that's something that the coaching staff has to take into consideration.
They've
got to see everything that they're doing, and they've got to take this into consideration and decide, hey, are we working these guys too hard? Not enough? What's going on? Is it a personal responsibility thing? There's a bunch of different factors there. So that's a really, really interesting point. I'm glad you brought that up.
I can't believe I just found my fucking notes. I don't know. I thought I erased. But it was over the
Thank you for
bar.
joining us.
I can't believe we're talking to me. Okay, and just real quick in hockey news, Alex Burrows takes responsibility for his hate. He's going to get a few games off, and Jack Johnson gets a 3-game ban for his hit. I saw the Jack Johnson hit on Yuri Tulutsi. I thought it might have been a clean hit. But boy, if you put that in slow motion, he buries that shoulder right in his head. Interesting, I keep the John Scott thing keeps popping in my head. Why isn't there the same outrage for Jack Johnson, which is almost an identical hit that there was for John Scott? Oh, I know. John Scott's not liked by the media, even though he never did a thing. And from what I understand, he's a pretty personable guy and very well spoken. And, of course, we did the Marc-Andre Fleury thing, which is probably what I should have titled the show, the Marc-Andre Fleury. Let me do a few plugs before so we can continue and let you know what we're doing here on the Shot from the Point live YouTube channel. I'd like to plug the most edgy, hysterical, and offensive hockey broadcast in all the known land. That's none other than Shot from the Point Live, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sundays. Please check out an hour and a half of the week in hockey like nobody else can do it. That's Shot from the Point Live with Jeff, Newsman, Bluesman Huffman, and none other than legendary comedian, legendary Jake Link. Please check our weekly show. There is nothing like it on earth. If you want more straight-up hockey and not as goofy, why don't you check out a little less goofy? That's right here in the crease with Tommy C. We do all sorts of stuff once a day, half an hour broadcast, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, in the crease with Tommy C. A little morning ice with you, and frequent crease men, point men, I don't know, frequent visitors to my crease. Does that sound better?
No.
Nothing to your crease sounds.
I don't want to. I don't want to go anywhere near your crease. I don't want to
Frequent
smell
point.
your
All right, I'll
crease.
stick with point.
I don't want
Your
to
crease.
taste your crease. I don't want to walk in your crease. I don't want to caress your crease. I want to be creaseless Dave from now on. I'm creaseless Dave. Okay.
Frequent visitors to my crease. Dead on Dave Vancura and new guy, Dave Rose. Also, if you like, you can flip over to SpectrumGaming.com, which is a temporary channel for the Joe Cronin Show, and you can check my Shock Jock, my contributors to our Guide Talk Shock Jock show. I don't fucking know. I hate that word, but I don't know what else to call it. And check out the latest episode of Monetize This. 3 hours of
Small
radio
correction,
talk,
Tommy.
no commercials, no nothing. It's 3 hours of your favorite. If you like hard-hitting Guy Talk Radio, people that aren't afraid to say just about anything, check out Monetize This. Dave Vancura also guest on that as well. And, of course, the great Joe Cronin of the Joe Cronin
Spectrum
Show.
Gaming 619.
617.
Oh, 7. See? I can't even
God,
get it
you
right.
both fucked it up. You
Oh,
both,
Spectrum
God,
Gaming?
Thank God I'm here. Thank God that
Yeah,
I
you're
was
right.
able to get
Actually,
off
today-
my fucking
today I'm
ass
very
today
thankful. Not
and
every
make
day,
the
but today I'm
Spectrum
thankful.
Gaming 617, children. I got
Spectrum
you. Don't
Gaming
worry.
61000. Check out Monetize This. I'm also going to be, I think this is the week, I'm going to work on Epic 3. You probably don't know. If you're listening what Epic 3 is, it's a rip-off of Boy Willem Johnson's hard-earned work. But I would do it with hockey videos. So stay tuned for Epic 3. And you know what I might do this weekend, too? I might, because my daughter's not here, I might just go through videos that I don't have, and I'm just going to upload them. I don't care if they like bring in some subs or things like that. I'm just going to make a bunch of hockey. I'm going to collect them like Dave collects Pokemon cards, you know?
Yes, I do.
Because he's a grown-up, 30-year-old Pokemon card.
Okay,
So
31 years old and damn proud of every one of my Charizards.
hey, what are your cards?
Burn your ass.
Geek.
Proud.
Actually, I think that I did a very good speech on how I feel. Did you hear that part, Dave? When I talk about like surrounding yourself with Magic the Gathering and video games. And
Which
stuff
Dave,
like that.
delicious or dead on?
Delicious, Dave.
Okay, there you go.
No, I don't think I got to that point in the video.
Now, tell me what you think of that. I think that'll be your favorite part. Check us back. We'll be our broadcast weeks on Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Shot for the Point Live, and then, of course, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the crease of Tommy C. And stay tuned for all the highlights, all the videos, and everything that this channel has to offer right here on the Shot for the Point YouTube channel. Right, boys?
Yep.
Absolutely, Coach.
Coach.
I
Hey, Coach.
will never call you that. Ever.
Hey, let me in.
Not fucking happen.
Why not?
No.
I'll settle for captain.
No. Tommy
Captain Todd?
D-Bag C. That's about
How about
as good as you can get out of
Spielfuhrer?
this guy.
Is Spielfuhrer good? Der Spielfuhrer,
Hello,
Herr
mein
Kaladan.
Can I make a good hockey for you, monsieur?
Yeah, I know. It's like it's so weird. Like, why does it say like because I saw that they have SF on the German national team soccer teams, and I said, what does that stand for? Special Forces? And my ex-wife was like, it means Spielfjord. I'm not. Am I lying? Am I lying?
No,
That Dave?
right. That's why it's funny.
That's right. All right, tonight in the National Hockey League. No, that's last night. Tonight in the National Hockey League, Edmonton will be in Boston. That should be a good game. That starts at 7 Eastern Standard Time. Florida at Philadelphia, and at 7:30 Eastern Time. Boy, let me tell you something. Is Ottawa in the Eastern Time Conference Eastern Time Zone?
Correct.
That's why. Okay, so 7:30 Eastern Time, Minnesota at Ottawa. Calgary also comes east, but down to Florida, they visit the Tampa Bay Lightning. That might be an interesting matchup. Wait a minute. Oh, fuck, these are last night's games. Wait a minute. Are they?
There's only 3 games last night, buddy.
No. Are these tonight's games? No, they're for Thursday. Are they really? They must be right. Well, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. New Jersey plays St. Louis again? That's impossible. Oh, no, New Jersey's at. That's why I got confused, because New Jersey just played St. Louis. Okay, New Jersey at St. Louis. That'll be 8 p.m. The Pittsburgh Penguins meet the Winnipeg Jets. And the very hot Nashville Presidents, they take on the Dallas Stars. Toronto at Colorado. There should be a win for you. And the Islanders have an uphill battle with the Stanley Cup champions and look like they're putting it back together in the Los Angeles Kings. Nucks Sharks at 10:30. That's the late night game, all times Eastern. Check it out for Thursday, November 6th, 26. I'm Tommy C, and I am out of here. Dave Rose, delicious Dave Rose, and Dead on Dave. We'll see you around, bitches. Yeah.